Welcome to the first part of the JetAdvice eSUMMIT 2017. My name is Mark Kouwenberg, and I will be your speaker for the topic Reliable and Strategically Important Data today. Let's have a closer look at today's agenda. I will actually start with zooming in on the objectives at managed sprint services providers. And then I will continue with talking about value of information in your hand. My colleague Nick Niebling will do a live demonstration of JetAdvice Premium, which is our brand new report portal. We will end this topic with a very nice incentive for our loyal Euroform customers. Let's start with the objectives. The objectives, what we see in the industry, but which are also shared with us through our global partner network. Let's start with the first one. What we all see is that we are in a market where both top line as well as bottom line profit are under heavy pressure. So the importance of cost optimization within the internal organization, but also cost optimization at the customer end, has actually never been higher. At the other end of that same equation, we see certain things about profitability. Keeping an existing customer on board is much more profitable than purely focusing on new business. So from a Euroform perspective, we absolutely focus not only on the improvement of customer retention and intimacy, but we also try to keep your contracts as profitable as possible. We do this, of course, by means of our solutions and services. In line with that last objective, and maybe also even as a result, there is a lot to do about improved service delivery towards customers. It has been never as crucial as it is these days. So about number 4, where managed sprint services is, as we all may know, becoming more and more a commodity. The drive of the customer, but as well as the provider, is to discover and develop new business models, but also to find and search for new paid services which are accepted by the customers. The last one, but absolutely not the least one, there's a lot going on about price erosion for the last couple of years. So the last objective we all recognize is that we should be able to distinct from the competition by value and not that much anymore by price. So these were the objectives, what we have seen in the market and which is shared with us by our partners. So let's talk a little bit more about information in your hand. Where today actually every individual is submerged with data on a daily basis, we all know that the true value is in information and not so much about the data itself. When we look at this information, it should have certain elements in it before it will be valuable. It should be, for example, action-oriented. It should support when taking the right decisions, but it should also be in the hands of the right people at the right time. So we as Euroform are very proud to announce that it has developed JetAdvice Premium. It's a report portal which provides you information in your hand. Our portal is accessible 24/7 and it provides on-demand reports. These reports, of course, can be customized, as you know it from us. It can be provided with the logo of you as a partner, as well as with the logo of, for example, the customer, based on the different needs, and we all have them. Reports can be based on, for example, various periods. You could be interested in a report containing information over the last 7 days, but it could also be a recurring report with the period of a month. It may be also interesting to have, for example, an assessment report from a customer, which is based on data over a year. Our goal at the end of the day is to provide you with information in your hand at the right time, for the right purpose, but also containing the right valuable information. Available today, we are absolutely extremely proud to share with you that we have today the first 2 reports of many available. We have the initial assessment report and we have the assessment report available. Both are available currently at the JetAdvice Premium portal. If you have a look at the screen, on the right side, you will see the initial assessment report, and on the left side, you see the assessment report. The initial assessment report is actually a free of charge report. It's containing the basic elements of an assessment. If you look at it, it's often used to provide the customer with a snapshot of its printing environment. On the left side, the assessment report, it's a more enhanced and detailed report. At the end, we see it as a true report that provides the customer with a deep dive of information, and actually true business value. As you can see, the portal provides you with a little bit more information. If you look at the ordering, you see the customer, which you might be able to change, but you also see the number of devices in scope of either the initial assessment or the assessment. You can see the price, but you can also select the period, like I just said. This actually allows you to be very flexible about the how, where, and when you would like to have an assessment report. Let's zoom a little bit more into the differences between the two reports. If we look at it, we can state that both reports contain an infrastructure assessment, a vendor assessment, and a technology assessment. On top of that, the assessment report contains a little bit more information. We provide you with information around the device statistics. We have an assessment about functionality. We provide detailed information about supplies. And we share with you the ages of the different devices, a so-called aged assessment. So the assessment report itself, compared to the initial assessment, has also quite some appendixes. These appendixes are zooming in on the devices per IP range, the age per vendor, but it also provides you detailed information, a top 10 of devices based on usage of color or mono. So these are the differences between the reports. Let's learn a little bit more about the business model we provide here. Next to the free initial report, which will be free and will remain free, JetAdvice Premium will provide you with true high-value reports. These actually will be paid reports. The price of a report will be actually expressed in a number of credits. These credits can either be bought up front, or our customers can choose for a subscription model, which could be a month, a quarter, or for example, a year. You may of course understand that there are different variables which can be recognized as price, but also as value components. To give you an example, an assessment report containing 25 or 40 devices presenting information about a month has absolutely a different value than, for example, a report containing 500 or 1,000 devices, providing details over the last 12 months. The same, of course, when you are reporting over multiple accounts. If we look at the image on the screen, we see actually three different components: the number of accounts, the time or duration, and the number of devices. If you combine these with the value of a report, that is exactly what will lead to its price. We think that the business model we provide you here will fit the needs of our customers. Now let's see what we plan for the future. JetAdvice Premium is a product which actually will be developed continuously. We have a clear path in front of us, but as you may understand, your input is highly appreciated, of course. We consider for the future developing more reports at dealer level, where it is possible, for example, to select either multiple customers or even across all your accounts. But we also are focusing on developing more and more reports at customer level itself. Just want to go with you through a few examples. Let's start, for example, at dealer level with the waste toner report. Waste toner, when talking about price per page contracts, has a huge impact on the profitability and on your bottom line. We are working and thinking about reports which offer you information about which 20% of your customers realizes 80% of your waste. Such a report is actually immediately action-oriented, and it's extremely valuable. You can do something about it and make sure your bottom line will be improved and the waste level at those customers will be decreased immediately. Another dealer report which might be very interesting is supply outlook. What will be my supply costs for the next month? Or what will be my supply outlook for the next quarter? That is highly valuable information. At a customer level, you can look, for example, at page coverage. Page coverage is also something what immediately can impact both bottom line as well as product profitability. So in case we also can identify a customer which has a higher page coverage than what is agreed in the contract, you can take the appropriate actions to make sure your profitability is not at stake here. As you can see, the thoughts we have and the developments we do are actually very, very close related to the objectives, which we have seen in one of the first slides. So we just want to make 100% sure that our reports contain information that has value for you, but also are action-oriented and support the needs from that specific moment. We just try to keep you ahead of the curve. I think we shared quite some information about JetAdvice Premium now. So let's move forward to the live demonstration. In this case, I would like to introduce my colleague, Nick Niebling, who will provide you with this live demonstration. I will be back afterwards.
Good morning, everyone. This is Nick speaking, and I'm having the privilege to show you the new product, JetAdvice Premium. We have made this product, as Mark just mentioned, to give you more reports in JetAdvice Manager. So now you can get something that is not just CSV table or Excel table, but more visual, graphical, nice looking PDF reports. This portal is looking very, very simple, and that's on purpose. We tried to make this as simple as possible and focused on ordering new reports and getting hold of the previously generated reports. So let's get to it. This is the login page where you're going to be using your JetAdvice Manager login, and I'll be logging in now. When you log in, you reach the dashboard. And on the dashboard, you'll be seeing the last 10 reports you've been generating on your account. That's not so important right now because we're going to order a new report and going to look at the rest of the UI. So if you see to the left here, you have a menu option called Reports. And below that, there's something called Assessment and History. History is kind of the same thing as you see on the dashboard, but you will actually get more than 10 history items. If you go to the assessment menu option, you'll be able to order new reports. So let's do that right now. On this page, you can see the two report options that Mark told you about in his presentation: the free initial assessment and the in-depth analysis of your printer fleet full assessment. So the initial assessment will be free forever. And the assessment over here to the right is free right now, but eventually it will cost you credits. So let's have a look at the differences between the two reports by diving into details. You click the details page and you get to this page where you can see different images. This shows you exactly what you're getting in the report, not with your numbers, but this is an example of what you can expect. If you go back here to the overview, click on assessment. You can see there's a few other images down here. This is because the assessment report contains more information than the initial assessment report. Right now you can see this one is free, but eventually this will cost you money. This is because we think we're bringing a higher value to you, and you'll hopefully see why later. Let's try to order a report. When we order a report, you'll see that we are expecting this report to be generated within the next 15 minutes, and you're not necessarily able to immediately download the result. Our service is working hard for you, and they're going to give you the report as soon as possible. If we navigate to the history page, you'll be seeing that this report is actually being generated right now. You can also see I generated one report earlier just to give you an example of how it looks. So I'm going to download that and show you the report. This is an example report, and I'm going to go through this report so you can see what the assessment report contains, and hopefully you'll find that this is enough information for you to bring value to your business. First of all, a front page containing the logo of the customer, and if you have a dealer logo, it'll be down here actually. Second page, table of content. See which page you're going to navigate to get exactly the part of the assessment that you're going to look at. Next up, we have the assessment introduction. This tells you something about what you can expect of this report and what the focus has been in this report. We have report summary page showing you the variables used to generate this report. This has information about the customer selected, how many devices is part of the report. In this case, cost per page for laser and ink. The assessment introduction, the infrastructure assessment is a page where you can see more about which IP addresses was monitored during the assessment time. If you have a lot of IP addresses and only a few devices, this can be difficult for a data collector to find all the devices, or at least it shows that maybe you didn't know exactly where the devices were. So this part of the assessment is actually crucial to show what kind of difficulties you had during your assessment period. Device statistics shows you if you have a lot of devices online and also when you saw the devices for the first time. So every time you see this new line down here bumping up, it means you found a new device for the first time. Vendor technology assessment will tell you about laser and ink. Do you have more laser devices than ink devices, or is it vice versa? This can be important for your business as well. In the vendor assessment, we're looking at how many different vendors you're currently having installed in your customer base. If you look here, you have 8 vendors, and often that is a little too much. Having more vendors installed at a customer site brings higher complexity. This yields higher cost, and that's not what you want. When you want to manage a printer fleet, you want to make it as simple as possible. So maybe you should consider removing and obsoleting some of the printers and only focusing on some of the vendors. Looking at the functionality assessment, we're diving into the capabilities of your printers. Do you have a lot of only A4 printers? Do you have A3 capabilities? Do you have color, copy, fax? These are parameters that you need to know when you go out to your customer, because maybe A3 color print is super important for your customer. And then it's important that they have a high amount of printers supporting this. Or maybe they don't need that and they shouldn't pay for large printers. Looking at the supply assessment, we can see we have a lot of different supplies. A lot of different supplies means different product numbers. Every time you have different product numbers, you potentially need to have more stock. If you are reusing the same product numbers in multiple printers, you can lower the stock value and just have a few supplies in backup. We're also trying to estimate the stock value at your customer site, and this helps you identify how many money you've found in unused cartridges. The age assessment page is pretty good to tell you how old your printer fleet is. So in this case, you can see we have a good spread between 1 and 12 years old printers, but we have a lot of 9 years old printers as well. And most likely, those printers are being used a little too much. Because if you look down here, you can see the 9-year-old printers are printing most of the pages. Usually what you want to see is to have the latest printers, the newest printers, to print most of the pages. In the end of the report, you'll find some extra slides that can help you. And this is, for instance, the dictionary, where you can see what terminology we've been using in the report. This helps your customer understand exactly what you're talking about, and they can always look up this and use this as a reference. After that, we have a few appendix. Appendix is, for instance, devices in IP ranges. So you get a full list of all the IP ranges that were scanned during this assessment, and also how many devices was found on each of the IP ranges. Again, this tells you something about how we came to the numbers on one of the first pages with infrastructure assessment. And if you want to dive into that page, this is where you go. We also have an age per vendor. So instead of just looking at age on a broad perspective, we can see exactly which vendor is having the old devices and new devices in your fleet. And based on that, you can make good decisions on which to obsolete first. Then we have device technology. How many laser, large format, print service, thermal, or ink printers do you have? And last but not least, the top 10 devices. These are most likely the devices that you're using most at the customer site, either printing the most color pages per year or the most mono pages per year. This was the full assessment, and I hope you feel like you're getting a lot of value out of this report. Thank you for listening in, and I'll hand it over to Mark.
Thank you very much, Nick, for providing us with a quite in-depth demonstration of JetAdvice Premium. I must admit that for the first time when I saw the reports coming out, I was truly impressed by both the quality of the information we provide, as well as with the quality of the layout. So a good summit always contains a little bit extra. Specifically for our Euroform customers attending to this JetAdvice eSUMMIT 2017, we have a very nice gift. We will provide you with full access to the JetAdvice Premium portal, and you will have unlimited reports without any charge until the end of this year. All your customers will, of course, be available in our portal, and we will send you an email on Friday, the 15th of September. I'm personally quite confident that this will absolutely add a lot of value for your business. Our feedback forum. We gave you something which we think is very valuable, but we also need you. As we all know, there is no single company that can survive and grow without both positive as well as negative feedback. Our partners definitely inspire us on a daily basis to add and bring that value. Your input really makes a difference. We would like to ask you to provide your feedback about this new product, JetAdvice Premium. And talking about feedback, we are looking for feedback around, for example, the functionality of the portal itself, ideas, suggestions for new reports. That could be ideas on, for example, customer level, but it could also be ideas on dealer level. And last but not least, if you have any ideas and suggestions for the existing reports, you're of course more than welcome. As you can see on the slide, there's a link on the bottom, and you will receive the slide set, of course, after the presentations. So you can use this link to go to our feedback forum. Actually, like I said, your input is absolutely leading when it comes to making decisions on new reports within JetAdvice Premium. Please feel free to leave your comments, ideas, suggestions on our feedback forum. That brings me to the last slide of this first session. I would like to thank you for joining here this morning and attending to my presentation about reliable and strategically important data. It's all about information in your hand, and I will hand over to Lars again. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. And now we will go on to the next topic, remote management, presented by Kim Nibling. So let me pass it over to Kim.
So welcome to the remote management session. It's planned for about 30 minutes. I can say with a great confidence the whole Euroform team has worked hard to get to this point. We hope you all will like what we will talk about today. I'm quite confident you will, because they did in all the other sessions. Again, as Lars says, any question, please use the chat. Write to Lars in the chat, and Lars will collect all the questions, and we will for sure answer them at the end of this session. I'm not sure if you have already recognized my voice, but if not, I'm Kim. It was already planned that it should have been Flemming who should have done this presentation, but Flemming is out sick, and yeah, we hope to see him back soon again. I promise you, I will do my almost and my best here to get this presentation done. The agenda. Why did we start looking at remote management? And yeah, I'm going to talk a little bit about the strategy around some of those things. When we did the strategy and when we looked at it last couple of years, we also grouped the things into, we call it use cases. So we have 4 of them. It's no secret that HP is in the forefront when it comes to remote management. Not said that anybody else is not doing things here of the different vendors, but at least we created a beta program for, and you can join that as a Euroform customer. And for that reason, we also have a next step, a takeaway from this presentation. The strategy, we looked at it from a Euroform perspective for a few years and looked at what we could do and what we could not do. And we, by purpose, decided that we would have a data collector, and that should stay as a data collector. And then we are working now with the vendors to providing us technology so we can do remote management like HP is doing. That said, it is a moving target, and what we see this month, and it's definitely gonna take a change, and I can see that the vendors are taking this serious in general. So there's a lot of things to see in the years to come. Well, let me start from the beginning. You all know that the JetAdvice Manager was born in the sky. We never had any solution on premises. We decided from the day one that this solution should be a solution in the sky. That said, when we looked at it, there was a reason. Yeah, it's now called cloud, right? And you all know that we are using Microsoft Azure as our service provider for delivering the infrastructure. In the early days, we just had a server on a public IP address, and that was data in the sky. When we did the start of this development, we thought a lot about automation. So we knew if we could get things up in the sky, get it to work up there, it would be very easy for us to do a lot of automation. But we also knew we could be more agile, we could develop quicker, we could respond quicker, we could fix problems quicker. We wouldn't have to go to 20, 30, 50, hundreds of different servers and make sure they were upgraded to the latest and greatest all the time. So that was really, really the purpose of going into the sky. We also knew from the start that we would collect a lot of different data, and we've been collecting more data over the years. We didn't know that the buzzword would be big data, but that's what it is, right? So we start on a public IP address, it's becoming cloud. We collect a lot of data, it becomes big data. You know how that works, right? So things get a good name when the big boys start talking about it. When we started out in 2002, we started out collecting from HP devices. In 2006, we decided to be a true multi-vendor. So it's now been 11 years. We have been a true multi-vendor. So we are now having more than 25,000 different devices we support in JetAdvice Manager. And I can tell you it's about 80,000 different supplies. So toner, ink, drums, maintenance kit, whatever it's called. We decided only to have a data collector from the very start. And that was a lot about security. When we were talking to like insurance company, banks, medical companies, governments, those kind of things. They were really, in the early days, they were like, wow, are you going to take data from our infrastructure and put it into the sky? What about security? What about all this kind of thing? So getting to the point where we also could say, wow, we would also start putting data out to the customer's infrastructure. We were just not ready at that point of time to doing that. The next point we were looking at was integration. Over the years we have done, we had the API first, and just a few years ago we did API 2. API 2 was, not just want to say API is a RESTful API, and API 2 is also. But when we did API 2, it was really 2 reasons. First of all, it was security. And that had a hiccup, as some of you know, because we were not really backwards compatible to API. That's when you want to do something around security, that's sometimes what happened. And second is we further expanded it into be able to do much more data. So now it also handles access from smartphones and tablets and those kind of things. So the API 2 is really developed a lot, I can say, over the years. API 2 is also used for our product called JetAdvice Hybrid. I'm not sure if you know JetAdvice Hybrid, but it's a solution where we install on local facilities, like on premises or in another sky cloud. We install a small solution where we make sure to synchronize data between the sky, the cloud, the JetAdvice manager into a local database. That database can then be used together with other data sets, like from CRM system, accounting system, and whatever. And our customers are making some great integration between those data in their own facilities. And they don't want to share all the data to everybody. And that's why they kind of looked at having this hybrid model from us. You heard Mark talk about reports. You could argue that business intelligence is really about collecting data, understanding the data, adding value to the data, and presenting the data. So how do you do that? How do you put that business intelligence into it? How do you actually modulate the data and do it? I think to put it into the business here, it's really about getting some good value out of the data we have been collecting. And that's, I think, is what you have seen with JetAdvice Premium today, and the data and the reports we have in the plans and thinking and all the ideas we have. And I can tell you we had some good ideas from the other sessions. So I have high expectations to you as well to come up with some good ideas here. It's really, I think that's a business intelligence. I think we're getting there, getting value out of the data. The next couple of years will be remote management. It's still new. Everything is still new in this area, I would say. And we're going to start with baby steps here. We think, and we all agree here in Euroform, that it's really a thing that we have a high attention on, and we want to differentiate and do something really different around remote management, because we can see a true value in this area. If we look at AI, it's big data. Now we can look at all those data we have, and we're going to do it in many different ways. Whatever we do, we think maybe somebody else is able to get into the data and maybe look at it from a different point of view. And how are we going to do that? What's the way to do that in the future? I can tell you what we have been looking at. It's been the cloud. What is Microsoft Azure doing? How do they look at data? How do they present data? And how do you know? So we're kind of looking a little in that direction. I foresee that within a couple of years, we will have a good thing around AI and do more with those data. Just keep on collecting a lot of different data from us or from the different vendors. It will be. I think it's really a thing we are looking forward to look at in the future. This presentation is really focused around remote management, and as I said, we have 4 use cases. We tried when we did the strategy, when we looked at it the last couple of years and talked to different vendors, we talked to customers about it, what they were asking about, what they were talking about, we kind of grouped it, and we ended up in 4 areas where we kind of said, okay, that's our 4 different use cases. And let me just be open here. Will it be 4 today, or will it be 5 tomorrow and 6 to the day after? I just don't know. Today it's 4 use cases, and that's what we are going to present. We'll see how it fits into the future. It's always difficult to know. The first one is remote configuration. And as you can see in the white box up in the right corner, we kind of try to put some really simple words around it. And it's like, there's no need to go, and meaning there's no need to go to the device. And let me put out some example here. When we talk to the help desk, they say very often in in their flowchart when they talk to customers. One of the things is, oh, you have this problem. It may be the driver, maybe it's the solution, maybe can you do me a favor? Can you go there and turn off and on the printer? That's a very common scenario. Now, the help desk can very easily just go into JetAdvice Manager, find that device who's having the problem, go into device details, go into management, and say reboot the device. And the device will reboot as when there's no job printing, nothing, it's ready, and it will reboot. So you can save time both at customer side and as a dealer, a reseller. You don't need to actually send a technician. You don't need to send the customer to do things at the device. It's a very simple, very easy task, but it can save a lot of time and can maybe, I can see a lot of possibilities in that area. Moving on, the next step is really updating the firmware. So 80% of our devices in JetAdvice Manager don't have the latest and greatest firmware. It is a moving target, we know. If you upgrade today, the vendor can come out with a new firmware within a week or two. You can make reports in JetAdvice showing you how many of your devices are having the latest and greatest firmware and which one needs to be upgraded. If you're having problems with a device, it would be very nice for you, I think. You could just go into the same management tab again, as I talked about before. Upgrade, see if there's a firmware available, upgrade the firmware to the latest and greatest. We know it's going to be challenged because if you have solution in there, you need to be careful not upgrading to a new firmware, then the solution will not be working. So that's also why it's possible to download the firmware to fit a very specific firmware if that's needed as well. So that's also possible. We know some manufacturers has, like HP has, signed and unsigned firmware. If you have upgraded to a signed firmware, there's no way back. You cannot get to an unsigned using this remote upgrade. So either you stay signed or unsigned. So that's definitely a thing you need to think about. But we think we can help and make sure you do the right decision here. Last but not least here, remote configuration. So configuration means you can set different parameters at the device. We think our focus will be around security. So turning on and off different protocols, doing different things in that areas. We have about 20 to 30 different settings we can do. And in the future, there can maybe even be more settings we can change on the device. Again, it's going to be in that management tab on the device. Yeah, so that's what we'll be doing on remote management or remote configuration, sorry. So definitely a very, very interesting area. The next one is optimize supply use. And as you can see here again in the lower right corner, you paid for it. A lot of the toner or ink that goes into a device, about 20%, 50% of that is thrown away. So it's a waste of money. We very often say the money is left on the table. You just take out that toner cartridge, ink cartridge, change it. You're a good employee. It has this toner logo on the display, and you just do what you're told to do. We would like to try to reduce that supply waste. And the way it's going to be done here is as soon as a cartridge, which is not empty, is removed from the device, we would try to notify that user as soon as possible to make sure it's actually, we want to save that cartridge as quick as possible, get hold of it as quick as possible. That's why we want to have a notification out there as quick as possible. It could be a help desk, it could be the person next to the devices. That's what we're going to try to do. It's going to be very cost effective from a supply use perspective. I think it will give us some happier customers end of the day. And for us, happy customer is both the dealer and the end user who's actually getting more out of the money already spent. So we think that's a key thing. There'll be other areas here we can work on, and we can come back to that, of course, at a later state. Know your printer fleet? We all know it, right? Do we still have that? Do we still have that device? Is that still around? you get visit from a technician. He comes up there, gets into the room and say, "Oh, I'm looking for that device. I need to do certain things." And the device is not there. It's just been moved. Nobody knows. You're trying to do accounting for a certain device, but it's not there on your accounting report. Why? Because it's been changing location maybe for whatever reason. And then the IP addresses change. Maybe it's moved from one data segment into another data segment of the IP addresses, and it's just totally lost. We see a way to get that device back into the portal, back into Manager. So we know it's moved. We can change the address. We can make sure you have the right account, the right counters, all of that. It still do the tone alert when it's needed. So a lot of times when we see MPS where we have some challenges is really where the device is not on the network, it's not being monitored anymore. So we want to keep those devices alive as much as possible. Another area here is local attached USB devices. In general, we don't recommend to do that. It is a challenge. We also know it's possible. So we do have our HP, Brother, Lexmark, Oki. They can do it. There's no doubt it's possible. That's not what we are saying. We just say it needs an extra hand. You need to be careful. You need to install the software on the PC. You need to make sure that it's tested, qualified, it's working, and then it will work in the device. It's not working. It's just if the Windows is upgraded, if the print drive is updated, if then it's maybe not working. What we are seeing is that both 8P and Brother is working on some very, very strong technologies in this area, and they want really to commit into and get this done in a very good way. And we work very close with both of those vendors to see how we can achieve it and make it work even better. So end of the day, we want to know as much as possible about the printer fleet out there. So that's definitely a key point when you do MPS. Fourth, but definitely not at least, is the preventive maintenance. We want to know it breaks before it breaks, right? And why is that important for us? We want to have as few service visits as possible, but not only fewer, we also want to fix it the first time. And if we can fix it before it breaks, we will not have any downtime. So it's like a full circle here. So when do we want to do it, preventive maintenance? From what we hear, it's when you have a visit at a customer at a specific location, you want to go there and you want to be there. You want to do as much as possible. So when you send out this technician to the location, you have a device where you need to do something. You look at the whole location and you look, oh, what else do I need to do? You can bring the right spare parts so you can do pre-maintenance. It will reduce downtime. It will reduce labor cost. It will reduce travel cost. It will. It's everything. It's just so much. I think there's so much labor-intensive thing here that can be saved. I've been a technician myself, and trust me, it's many years ago. I know, but when I was out there, what I really didn't like was getting to a device the first time. I have never ever seen it before. The first time I saw it was at the customer. Standing there at the customer, looking at a device, not knowing it. And I need to change something. I don't know when, how, what to do. Now, in this area here, we also see a way to say, okay, the technician can sit in the car, log onto the tablet or phone, look at a video at the device, say, oh, I need to change this maintenance kit or drum, whatever. How's that done? You have a small video, and then you see it. End of the day, all those things here for the dealer, the reseller, will save a lot of labor, a lot of time, be very, very cost effective. And the customer would just see some very good customer experience, I would say. The devices is just kept alive or up and running, much, much more stable and much better. Okay, that's the four use cases we have today. As I said, I think Do we have 5 next year, or do we have 6, or we still 4? I don't know, but we're definitely investing a lot of time in this area of remote management in many ways. If you want more information, you can stay up to date. There are really 2 places I would say you could look. Of course, on the website here, jetadvice.com/rn. I'm going to show the website just in a second. And we'll also be sharing on LinkedIn on the JetAdvice company page. That's where we share when things are happening in general. And just stay tuned those 2 places. I think that's where you get the best information from us. Now let's get on to what we actually, not only strategy and talking, but what's actually going to go in there. HPSDS, yes, we worked on it for a long time, and as you can see, it's on our website. And if you want to have more technical information about what we are doing, I would recommend you to sign up for the tech news. Send an email to support@euroform.com and sign up for the tech news. There's some tech details about what we're doing and where we're going. And yeah, a side note here, Alex has promised to make some good videos as well about all this remote management. So yeah, things are going to happen in the months to come. So stay tuned. That's what I would recommend at least. HP Smart Device Service. Let's see what HP is actually doing. What we have done together with HP. We worked with HP for a long time on Smart Device Service. You might know they introduced the new A3 devices, is what they call it. They acquired Samsung Print Division, and the new devices was introduced in the market in springtime. And at that time, they also made a big announcement that was this new HP Smart Device Service. End of the day, it's about remote management, know the devices better. HP started out having the data center in the US. They now also have a data center in Europe, in Germany. So they have 2 full stack up and running. We are using the one in EMEA. 80% of our customers are out of EMEA, so it was really good for us. And yeah, you probably know all about that. But having the data in EMEA was definitely a thing that was really important for us. Then HP have done the GMC, and going to come back to that when I'm going to show a schematic overview about how that's working. And it's upgraded. It's much better. And at the end, everything is getting much more stable now than before. We are planning to send out the installer and the GMC this week and next week, and hopefully end of next week. Everybody who signs up to this beta program should have the GMC installed, and we will start seeing data coming into JetAdvice, and it's a long travel. But yeah, we'll get there eventually. A quick overview about how the HP solution is working, the HPSDS. You all know JetAdvice data collector. JetAdvice is talking to the JetAdvice manager in the cloud, and the JetAdvice data collector start collecting, and I'm going to emphasize collecting data from all the different devices, HP and all other devices. Now what we have developed is an installer that installed the GMC. GMC is the technology that HP has kind of provided. I'm going to come back to that here. The GMC will connect to the JetAdvice Manager Cloud, and you'll use your credential from logging into JetAdvice to do this. So there's nothing new here you need to know. You just need to know you connect now and you want to install the GMC. The manager is, because we know it's the GMC installer contacting us, will create whatever is needed on the HP cloud. So the HP cloud will, whatever is needed up there will be created, and accounts and synchronizing the different devices and so on. Now the installer, if everything goes as expected, it will install, first now it will install the JetAdvice Management Connector, that's the JMC. It will be installed at the customer location. When that's installed perfectly, it will hopefully start talking to the HP cloud service. And we know we have some potential challenge here because we need more ports open, both out of through the internet or the proxy settings, those kind of things, but also potential inside when it needs to talk to the device. End of the day, it's a learning curve. I'm sure we will solve it, and we'll work together to get all this done. That's really how it's working in short. Now, what's the next step here? We want you to sign up to this HVSCS Beta Pro, and you need to sign up. So that is a beta program. It's a one-pager. It's really simple, very easy, but you need to sign up for it. When you have signed up, this is the roadmap we would follow. So first, as said, first thing you do, get a device next to you. Make sure you install the JMC, make sure it's working. And the first thing you would do is the device next to you, try to reboot it. As soon as it's rebooting, try to update the firmware, upgrade, downgrade the firmware. If you can do that on as many devices as you like, there's no restriction. Phase 2 is really the C-SKU. It's actually working out of the box, but we want you to please follow these phases just to make sure that the JMC is working as expected, is stable, everything is working as expected before you start counting on the MSKU, the C-SKUs. Phase 3, device configuration. I talked that up a little bit about that in the use cases. You can set a lot of different things, and security will be the focus here. We'll try to focus on things that's going to be related to security. And how do you sign up for this beta program? Pretty simple. Send an email to support@euroform.com, and there's a full process happening there in the background. Okay, I think that was all for me, Lars. So I will hand over to Lars here. Talk to you later.
Welcome everyone to the last presentation of this session. This session is actually about today and tomorrow, about the status and the future of the JetAdvice family. First of all, I want to go with you through a little catch-up around JetAdvice Manager, what we have done during the last 12 months. We would like to zoom in a little bit more on the general trends as we see them in the industry. But I would also like to share the business models we have developed and which we are providing to our partners today. Before we end with Partner of the Year, I would also like to share some insights in the future of our product family. So, all right, let's start with catching up around JetAdvice Manager. What have we actually done in the last 12 months? Supply management. We have done a lot around supply management, just to make sure that we provide the most effective and reliable supply management system for our partners, of course. You also understand that we have a tremendous amount of data in our system. This is built on almost 15 years of JetAdvice Manager. When we combine that with our proven algorithms, but also with the information we receive from all the devices, we have been able to develop certain very, very interesting improvements. Let's start with the first one, replacement suggestion. Actually, based on the behavior of the devices, we have a so-called specific algorithm considering the best supply option for this usage pattern. So based on the actual volumes printed and combining with the yield and the speed, etc., we provide our customers with a replacement suggestion. So it could be either a standard supply or, for example, a large or an extra large supply. It all depends on the usage pattern of that specific device. Another improvement, is about starter supplies. Everybody knows that for years, for many years, starter toners have been a true thorn in the side. What we have developed is intelligent functionality that actually takes care of the fact that starter toners are no longer suggested as a replacement. So within our supply management system, you will not be provided with information to order a starter toner. So this replacement information actually will be only suggesting standard, large, or high capacity toners. Last but absolutely not least, it's about reporting. We also made sure that all the data and information fields related to replacement suggestions, but also related to starter supplies, are in our reporting system. That makes it easy for you to get the right information at the right person at the right time. You may know that we have a very flexible reporting system where you can report based on a single customer, on a selection of your customers, but also across all your customers. So both the replacement suggestion as removing the pain we all had around starter supplies is a huge step we made regarding our supply management system. Meter readings. It's actually funny, but when we talk about meter readings, it's for us an ongoing daily process, only to make sure that we remain having the best and most reliable data set around the world. Euroform is known for its quality, and that's something we provide within our system on a daily basis. You know that we provide information of all different vendors, all different models types. We have approximately over 25,000 device models in our data set. You may definitely understand that it's a daunting task to keep everything in the quality you expect from us. So this is one of the ongoing developments we do. Then have a look at A3 counters. You might remember that getting the A3 counters was actually never as simple as seeing, for example, an A4 or a ladder counter. But we have done a lot of research in the last 12 months, and that has resulted in the production of an A3 printer counter options that actually makes it easy to use, but also properly account for A3 usage, and that across all different vendors. So that has been a huge work to standardize that. We all know that all those different vendors show large print sizes differently. Canon has a different name than Xerox had. HP has a specific name for it. Everybody has a different naming for A3. So we've also been able to combine the various ways they are actually uniquely displayed, all into one single counter. And this new counter option works for actually all printers with the A3 functionality. Remember that the devices need to have the ability to actually communicate such information, which is not always the case. So let's talk about our platform. It's always something that our customers just don't see. Maybe they don't even recognize it. In our case, it's even the best when they take it for granted, because that's the quality we provide. During the last year, we have done many updates and improvements to our JetAdvice platform, just to make sure we provide you with speed, quality, scalability, reliability. That's what makes it important. It's not only the functionality within a system, but it's definitely the platform where it's running on. You should have a reliable provider of printer fleet management services, and that is what we take care of for 100%. As you know, we run our services on Microsoft Azure, and we've been implementing new services actually with the latest technology, just to make sure we provide that performance. But we also match our ongoing growth, because JetAdvice Manager is growing really, really rapidly. We released a new data collector with a lot of focus on more and enhanced security, but also added some new languages to it. So we have been doing a lot when it comes to our platform. You may have seen it, you may not have seen it, You actually may have taken it for granted, but for us, it's just important to be reliable and predictable when it comes to delivering quality of services. So let's move to the trends we see in the industry. So let's start with big data. We all know that the printing industry is actually one of the most connected industries amongst all of them. We know because every device which is connected to the network provides a lot of information. So all those products we sell, support, manage, provide us with that data. But on the other hand, we also know that data is actually useless when it's not transformed to information. Those Excel sheets with thousands and thousands of lines and hundreds of columns, we as humans are actually no longer at a stage where we are able to do the interpretation of that data. So if you truly want to reveal patterns, trends, and associations to get the true value out of the data, it's extremely important that there are technologies to help you. And one of the things we showed you today is it's about JetAdvice Premium, which is actually taking care of transforming big data about your customers into action-oriented information. So that about big data. Kim already shared quite a lot about remote management and shared also where we are as Euroform, and that we absolutely see that this is a trend which is here to stay. We put a lot of effort in remote management. So also due to that high connectivity level, we receive and provide a lot of information from the device. It's becoming more realistic actually. So remote management allows MPS providers, for example, to have a better quality of services towards their customers, but also a more cost-effective level of support. So what we see is actually that real-time monitoring combined with an instant response, an instant remote response, is the near future. So let's move forward to integration. As said before, data is everywhere, and all employees have different information needs within your organization. You may understand that sales would be interested in what type of new opportunities are there within existing customers. It might be very good well that management is interested to see which customers are the most profitable ones or which customers have the most waste. So we see that information in your hand should be personal, should be action oriented, but how do you get it? How do you get the right information at the right place at the right time? So we see that integration actually requires a strong holistic view on information management, but also on automated workflow processes. So it is inevitable actually that in our industry, we all need to move forward with integration, but also with automation of the order to delivery process. That is the only way to migrate the huge piles of data into action-oriented information. Reduce manual labor, remove mistakes, and make sure that the customer experience is 100%. So independent reports. We also see that the customer end is providing more pressure. They ask, for example, about more detailed information regarding their current situation, but they also have higher demands on cost-saving initiatives. Not only more upfront, but they are truly looking for cost savings initiatives during a contract period. Of course, what is equally important is the digital transformation, what's going through these customers. So we consider independent reports not only helping you fulfilling the information need of your customer, but also identifies opportunities to improve customer relationship, to actually see what type of paper processes go through that organization. but absolutely also sales potential. So these are the trends, how we identify them in the industry and are important for today, but also for tomorrow. Let's move forward to the business models we provide to the market. As most of you know, we are absolutely carefully listening to our customers. Not only when it comes to new business models, but also when it comes to innovative business models. So let's start with JetAdvice Manager. For JetAdvice Manager, we have a pay-per-device model, so a true consumption model. It's a prepaid system per quarter, and JetAdvice Manager actually offers the full scope of MPS services. It contains all value and all benefits for our MPS partners. But if we look at JetAdvice Connect, it comes from an entire different angle. From the wholesale and distribution end, we identified actually a need to secure that the supplies stay in the supply chain. Not only supplies, but of course also long life consumables. You can of course imagine that this is a different business model, a totally different business model. So specifically for wholesalers, but also for large dealers focusing on supply sales, we developed JetAdvice Connect. And that business model is actually directly related to part of that core business, selling supplies and long life consumables. So there we have a business model, pay per supply, or actually as we call it, pay per generated supply order. For JetAdvice Connect, we have yearly contracts because the commitment from two ends and the levels of integration are way higher. The third one, JetAdvice Premium, where we provide you with valuable information in your hand. We have been thinking quite a lot about what could be the best business model for this. But we also consider the fact that many of our partners have totally different needs. So we've been thinking about pay per reports because probably there are needs for recurring reports, like a back office report, which is run every week or every month. But there could also be a customer report, which is only done once. So based on both pay as you go, as well as the subscription model, for example, a week, month, a year, we have defined this business model as the best go-to-market for JetAdvice Premium. So these were the business models we're currently providing you with. Let's have a closer look what we are going to do in the future with these products. So let's start with JetAdvice Manager. One of the actual near future developments is that ordering supplies during days left will get more focus. It's not actually a simple algorithm. What replaces the so-called X% left by X days left. It requires a lot more to make sure that we use a number of days left, which truly indicates when a supply needs to be replaced. So it takes a lot of development from our end to make sure that we deliver the quality you are expected from us when we provide you with either percentages or days or whatever number where you have to make decisions on. Like Kim shared in his presentation about remote management, this is also one of the things within JetAdvice Manager we put a lot of effort in. We truly think that this is something here to stay. JetAdvice Connect, our solution for wholesalers and distributors of supplies and long life consumables, we aim for an improvement at conversion optimization. And it sounds like a trendy word, conversion optimization, but actually when we look at conversion optimization, it means the entire activity chain from wholesaler to end customer. So we will help the wholesaler to sign up more dealers and help the dealer to sign up more end customers. So more supplies and long life consumables will go through the supply chain. That's what we're aiming for when we talk about conversion optimization. So from our end, we constantly optimize the simplicity, but also the ease of use when it comes to working with JetAdvice Connect. And that way, we ensure the conversion rate going up, but also grow the number of suppliers growing to the solution bottom line. Then we have JetAdvice Premium. It's quite clear what our direction is here. We will develop, on one hand, more reports at customer level. For example, something like quarterly business reports you can think about. But also we aim for more reports at dealer level, which could be a selection of customers, but it could also be a report across all your customers. Today, not on the slide, but absolutely equally important, it's JetAdvice Hybrid. Kim already talked about it. It's one of our integration products. The upcoming period, we aim to talk to our customers who are using JetAdvice Hybrid and discuss together with them what needs to be the next step in integration and optimization. We provide so many possibilities and opportunities that we truly appreciate the input we get from our customers to work together on the right direction where we go with JetAdvice Hybrid in the near future. So this is actually a glimpse of what we'll focus at within Euroform. There's actually one thing that we know for sure, and that is that we cannot Google what are your needs and what are your requirements. As we have shown you today, we have a lot, and JetAdvice Manager is known as the most qualitative and reliable solution when it comes to printer fleet management around the world. But we want to help you to stay ahead of the curve. We would like to make 100% sure that you have a profitable business. So we are sharing with you today that we are open. Whether you want to discuss new features for JetAdvice Manager or brainstorm about report content for JetAdvice Premium, we are open to listen to you, but also open to work close together, just to make sure that we achieve our mutual goals. And that's for the both of us, actually. So we have developed a feedback forum. For all of our JetAdvice products, we have a different forum. So as you can see, this slide contains 3 links, one for Premium, one for Manager, and one for Connect. As Lars already mentioned, after the presentations, you will receive the slide sets. So by means of the links, you will end up in the feedback forums for these different products. So feel free, it's easy, and share your thoughts with us, your ideas, and your suggestions. All right, Partner of the Year. This is always something very special within Euroform, and absolutely also for our partners. We have quite a long history, as you can see, with the selection of Partner of the Year. The 2016 Partner of the Year will be announced via LinkedIn. It goes through our JetAdvice company page, and it will be done on Thursday, the 14th of September. That will be after our last session of the JetAdvice eSUMMIT 2017. So please follow us on LinkedIn, the company page of JetAdvice Manager. We truly appreciate your likes, your shares. I think it's a win for all of us. So, Partner of the Year, Thursday, the 14th of September, after our last session, via our company JetAdvice Manager page on LinkedIn. So feel free to join us. So this was it. This was my presentation with a little bit about yesterday, about where we are today, and what we are working on tomorrow, with an emphasis on the fact that we would like to do that together with you. So thank you for attending to this last part of the JetAdvice eSUMMIT 2017. Appreciate it. And now we will get back to Lars. Thank you.
We have some questions from some of you, so let's get started. First, let's get started with the premium report. Do you gather info about large format printers? Yes, we are collecting information actually from all type of printers. So, but some premium reports will not include all type of printers. So we will only focus on office printers, or maybe on large format printers. So it could be maybe difficult to compare a large format with office printing. So they will probably be in two different reports. Can I get a sample report in PDF? Yes, for sure. So all customers who has been participating in the eSUMMIT will get access to the JetAdvice Premium Beta program. And as long as it's running, it's free. And here you can generate the two types of report you saw earlier in the demonstration. There's also a question, is it possible to get a no-name sample report? Yes, that is possible. So please let us know if you need a no-name sample report you can use to show to customers. Which credential is used for signing into premium reports? It is exactly the same credentials as you use today for JetAdvice Manager. So you will not get any new username or password for that. That will be the same credentials as you use today. And which reports will be available in the future? We will follow our MPS wheel. And as you have seen in the demo, we will start with assessment. And the reports to come will be design, deployment, operation, and optimization. Remote management. The question is, will it be possible to limit what end users can see and do? We do have some roles in JetAdvice Manager today, and where customers can see something and dealers can of course see everything, and they can also limit what customers can actually see. But we are still looking into that to see if we can do more. Could be maybe more restrictions on what actually customer can see, and also together with remote management. So that was it for the questions for today. We will send out the survey after the summit here, and we hope that you will fill it out and send it back. And also remember that the presentation will be sent to you in PDF files to your email after this session here. Thank you for participating today in the JetAdvice eSUMMIT 2017, and hope to talk to you and maybe see you soon, and have a nice day.